undistinguished career of Basil of Baker Street.
You're despicable.
And they would have gotten away with it too, if it weren't for those meddling kids. Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Disney villains that almost succeeded. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. We'll be looking at animated Disney villains who came very close to accomplishing their goals, only to be thwarted and defeated at the last possible moment. Number 10. Ernesto de la Cruz, Coco.
Remember me. Though I have to say goodbye, remember me!
Ernesto was certainly an ambitious man. Once Hector called it quits, Ernesto poisoned his drink and stole his work, passing it off as his own. And you know what? It actually worked. Ernesto became an icon in his native country, and a beautiful mausoleum was erected in his memory. When it comes to the land of the living, Ernesto straight up beat Hector, as painful as it is to acknowledge. He nearly won in the land of the dead as well, if it wasn't for the family rescuing Hector and Miguel from the cenote pit.
Oh, it's Dante!
If Ernesto had disposed of Hector and Miguel in a more elaborate manner, the secret would never have been revealed, and Ernesto would continue to be revered and beloved. Number 9. DrFaciliate, the Princess and the Frog. DrFaciliate wins a lot throughout The Princess and the Frog. He turns Naveen into a frog, he disguises Lawrence as human Naveen, and he's even granted the use of scary shadow demons by the voodoo spirits.
We gonna find ourselves a frog! Search everywhere! The bayou, the quarter, bring him to me alive. I need his heart pumping.
Said demons later capture Frog Naveen, and even though Ray steals the talisman disguising Lawrence, Faciliate squishes him to death in one of the most upsetting deaths in early 21st century Disney memory. In fact, if Faciliate didn't gloat and do the whole villain monologue thing with Tiana, things would have worked out quite well for him. However, he didn't take into account Tiana's long tongue.
I got news for you, Shadow Man. It's not slime, it's mucus!
No!
Number 8. Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty.
Why, it's Maleficent. What does she want here?
Maleficent is one of the all-time greatest Disney villains. Not just because of her over-the-top outfit and greenish-gray skin, although that helps, but because she's truly menacing and dangerous. Not only does she manage to curse Aurora, but she also successfully tricks her into pricking her finger on a spinning wheel, which of course forces the princess into a deep sleep.
You poor simple fools, thinking you could defeat me, the mistress of all evil.
She even serves as a tough final boss after taking the form of a dragon. And if it wasn't for the fairies and a particularly well-placed sword throw, Philip would have been a goner. Meanwhile, Aurora would be stuck sleeping for a long, long time. Number 7. Judge Claude Frollo, the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
There, Quasimodo. I know it hurts, but now the time has come to end your suffering.
Things look pretty grim near the end of the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Frollo tricks Quasimodo into leading him to the Court of Miracles, which in turn results in the capture of Esmeralda and her people. Esmeralda is also sentenced to burn at the stake for refusing Frollo's advances. Luckily, Quasimodo saves the day, resulting in an ambush on the cathedral. Frollo nearly kills Quasimodo by sending him over the edge of the building, and is ultimately defeated by a weak and crumbling gargoyle. If he just pulled himself all the way up instead of standing on the gargoyle, the Hunchback of Notre Dame might have had a very different ending. Number 6. Don Bellwether, Zootopia.
All right, well, I'd say the case is in good hands. Us little guys really need to stick together, right?
Like glue.
Good one.
Despite her appearance, Bellwether is one of the most immoral and manipulative villains in the Disney canon. For one thing, her plan to segregate the predators actually worked, and Zootopia was plunged into a bitter civil strife. Unlike most Disney villains, Bellwether won, and her plan was completely successful.
Think of the headline. Hero cop killed by savage fox.
It was only by pure happenstance that Judy even realized the truth about the Night Howlers. Just imagine if she didn't return home, if Gideon didn't deliver the pies, if the kids didn't run through the flower patch, or if Gideon didn't share what his family called the flowers. That's a lot of ifs that ended up foiling what was otherwise a pretty foolproof plan.
Former Mayor Dawn Bellwether is behind bars today, guilty of masterminding the savage attacks that have plagued Zootopia of late.
Number 5. Ursula, the Little Mermaid.
So long, lovely boy.
Ariel!
The climax of The Little Mermaid is probably one of the scariest and most unsettling sequences in Disney history, and all of it stems from Ursula. First, Triton is transformed into a polyp, a moment that continues to plague our nightmares to this day. Angered by the deaths of her eels Flotsam and Jetsam, Ursula grows to a ridiculously massive size and starts controlling the ocean. Luckily, she happens to raise a sunken ship with a splintered bowsprit, which Eric uses to impale Ursula and bring an end to her evil. It was certainly fortuitous that Ursula raised such a conveniently shaped ship, and right in front of a drowning Eric to boot. Number 4. Mother Gothel, Tangled.
Mother knows best.
For someone with no supernatural abilities, Mother Gothel certainly dealt a lot of damage. First, she masterminds the kidnapping of Rapunzel, and has both Eugene and the Stabbingtons captured and brought to the palace. She's certainly an intelligent villain, and those are often the scariest. Secondly, she actually manages to stab one of the protagonists, which is more than most Disney villains can say.
Now look what you've done, Rapunzel. Oh, don't worry, dear. Our secret will die with him.
Unfortunately for her, Eugene managed to hang on just long enough to cut Rapunzel's hair, destroying its magic and severing its ties to Gothel, resulting in her death. Just think what would have happened if Gothel pushed him out of the tower window instead. Number 3. Hades, Hercules.
Okay, well, I deserve that. Eric, can we talk?
This is another defeat that comes down to pure rotten luck. After defeating the Cyclops, Hercules is nearly crushed by a falling pillar, but is saved at the last second by Meg. This, in turn, breaks Hades' promise, which allows Hercules to regain his strength, storm Olympus, defeat the Titans, and free the gods. All because of a falling pillar.
Thanks a ton, Wonder Boy. But at least I've got one swell consolation prize.
If that pillar never cracked, Hercules would still be weak and unable to save the gods from the Titans. As if Hades' luck wasn't bad enough, Herc's godhood is restored in the Styx at the last possible second, preventing the hero from becoming just another soul in the river and fulfilling Hades' plans.
Schmooze. Get away from me! Don't touch me! Get your slimy souls off me!
He's not gonna be happy when he gets out of there!
Number 2. Jafar, Aladdin.
What have you done?
Trust me!
After he becomes the genie's master, Jafar uses his wishes to become the most powerful sorcerer in the world. And really, it doesn't get much more threatening than that. His fantastic powers allow him to win the final battle by trapping Jasmine in an hourglass, transforming both Abu and the magic carpet, and trapping Aladdin in a circle of fire.
Are you afraid to fight me yourself, you cowardly snake?
A snake am I?
He even manages to transform into a massive freaking snake. Victory was all but certain, and all he had to do was squeeze Aladdin to death. However, Aladdin placed his ego, resulting in his eventual downfall. If only he just squeezed him like Iago said. Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, great!
And everything that goes with it.
No! No!
I'm getting out of here!
Phenomenal cosmic powers.
Come on, you're the genie! I love
Itty bitty living space.
Before we see who succeeded the most in their pursuits, here are a few honorable mentions.
Mother of monkey milk, I did it!
You won't get away with this.
I already have.
Number 1. Scar, the Lion King. Few, if any, Disney villains are as successful as Scar. His great villainous scheme actually comes to fruition, as Mufasa dies and Simba is banished from the kingdom. It's a shocking and incredibly dark turn of events that we truly didn't expect from a Disney film. Scar subsequently rules the Pride Lands for many years, and if it weren't for Timon and Pumbaa's divine-like intervention, he would have ruled for many more.
Mufasa, no, you're dead.
Or he could have just killed Simba directly, but we guess he's above murdering children in cold blood. Regardless, Simba returns and ends Scar's reign for good, proving that you should never ever take half measures, and that if you want something done right, you should do it yourself, especially if you're a diabolical villain in a Disney movie.
Let me explain. No, you don't understand. No, I didn't mean...
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.